Wonder if it's going to change. Welcome in Thursday night. You found us, Above Ground World News, reporting from FEMA Region 7. Got a little heads up here. Let's jump right into this. We got a lot of stuff to get into. Don't have a lot of stuff to go over, but so somebody sent me this Ebola outbreak planners needed. This is coming out of one of them Craigslist ads. Ebola outbreak planners needed for a planned Ebola exercise in Dallas. And I can't find any kind of dates other than December 11th is when they were looking for the planner. Full-time job, apply now. You know, I tried looking into this company because I haven't heard of this company before. First, I tried to look at their website, and it says the page does not exist. I did find their YouTube channel. And then I did a little digging, and I did find their website. It's called PANE.com. The Readiness Sustainment Team International Logistics Infrastructure and Logistics Team Business Process Solution Intelligence Solutions Counter Threat Solutions. So they deliver smart, secure, mission-critical operation support information analysis. Looks like they're out of Virginia. And I was looking at some of this stuff here. Geographical distribution of Ebola virus disease cases, DRC and Uganda. You know, I tried to find the map. You know, this thing shows a map, which it's not coming up on the search engines. They take these things down so quick. Like, I couldn't find this map, this page. Couldn't get it to load. All right, so let's see what it says here. For more than 60 years, PAE, pretty weird, P instead of P and E, it's PAE, has tackled the world's toughest challenges to deliver agile, steadfast solutions to the U.S. government and its allies. They employ more than 20,000 employers on 7 continents in more than 70 countries. They deliver a broad range of operational support and services, meet the critical needs of the clients. Who's the clients? The Soros and the Rockefellers. So this is saying November 2nd, 2019. So this, you know, it may be old. I don't know. So it says that, so the duty description, in-depth knowledge of the effects and characteristics of chemical agents, hazardous material, toxic industrial material, radiological material, biological agents, hazards such as Ebola, shall be able to apply comprehensive knowledge of all the above into various realistic planning scenarios, exercise events that support the training objectives of the exercise. Oh yeah, definitely pray out there. Somebody's sick out there. I just barely caught that before it went up out of the screen. Required hours may include nights, holidays, weekends, on short notice. Looks like you have to serve as a POC team members in support of a CBRN weapons, proficient in Microsoft Suite, capable of maintaining positive relations and rapid with teammates, the client, the U.S. military, Afghan counterparts. Must have the demonstrated ability to communicate in English, orally and in writing. You got to have 5 years minimum experience as an exercise planner for FEMA, the state, or DOD. 1 year of combat deployment experience. At least 1 year of TAM experience with a partner nation. You must be a U.S. citizen and have a U.S. driver's license. Well, anyway, if you got all them, hey, they're looking for an Ebola crisis preparedness planner. Anyway, we'll see if we see anything else pops up like that. I didn't look at any of their videos here. Let's just see what they got here. Pledging allegiance to PAE employees. Well, I may have to dig into that later. Just see what kind of stuff they got. Like I said, the website's PAE.com. Alright, let's get through here. So there's been a ban. There was a ban on genetically modified crops. Now it's going to be lifted in Australia. So the government bypasses the parliament. We've seen this coming, man. They're engineering the droughts, engineering the fires, and then Monsanto is going to swoop in here and sell the drought-resistant seeds and all that stuff. So the South Australian government will let mainland farmers grow genetically modified GM crops from the start of 2020, sidestepping the parliament, which has twice blocked the plan and could do so for the third time. You know, most of these GMO crops that the American farmers have to plant are illegal in other countries, but yet, hey, we plant them everywhere. New regulations allowing growers to plant the GM crops from January 1st everywhere in the state except Kangaroo Island. Parliament could still block these new regulations, but they will not have an opportunity to do so until February. By that time, who knows, they could already have stuff planted. You know, once you put the GMO crops out there, it drifts off and it can contaminate natural crops, and that's their plan. So the decision is a stupid in the extreme, Green says. The Green called Mr. Waitstone's move remarkable and said it was very likely to backfire. Like I said, they fought this and beat it twice, and now they're just like bypassing stuff to force this on the people. It's going to ruin other crops. It's going to ruin the other crops. And while that's going on, this came out 22 hours ago. The history's largest mining operation's about to begin. Is it in the Antarctic, the Arctic? No, it's underwater. They're going to do it underwater. Let's just read. I haven't even read this. I just kind of went through it real quick. So let's see here. Unless you are given a chronic anxiety or suffer from, I don't even know what that is, despair, you probably haven't spent much time contemplating the bottom of the ocean. Many people imagine the seabed to be vast expanse of sand, but it's jagged, dynamic landscape with much variation. As any place on shore, mountains surge from the underwater plains, canyons slice miles deep, hot springs billow through the fissures in the rock. Heavy brine ooze down hillsides, pouring into undersea lakes. These peaks and valleys are laced with most of the same minerals found on land. Scientists have documented their deposits since 1868 with a dredging ship. A dredging ship pulled up a chunk of iron from one more seabed north of Russia. 5 years later, another ship found similar nuggets at the bottom of the Atlantic. And 2 years after that, it discovered a field of the same objects in the Pacific. Too many of the largest mineral corporations in the world have launched underwater mining programs on the west coast of Africa, using a fleet of specialized ships to drag machinery across the seabed in search for diamonds. In 2018, those ships extracted 1.4 million carats from the coastal waters of Namibia. In 2019, the De Beers commissioned a new ship that will scrape the bottom twice as quickly for another vessel. Let's see here. Underwater hot springs lined with precious metals, while Japan and South Korea have embarked on national projects to exploit their own offshore deposits. The biggest prize for mining companies will be access to international waters. that cover more than half the global seafloor contain more valuable minerals than all the continents combined. Regulations on ocean mining have never been formally established. The United Nations has given that task to an obscure organization known as the International Seabed Authority. You know they're getting a cut. So just more ways to contaminate the ocean. You never know, what they might pull up or bust something loose down there. So it looks like they're going to be dredging the ocean. Man, that's a big article there. Let me copy this link so I got it. And when we have more time, we'll go through that a little deeper, try to find out what they're really looking for. So you gotta, if these guys are out here, there's going to be more ships, dumping the bunker fuel. They're not going to be running off clean fuel out here when they're that far out. And it looks like, right where the bunker fuel operations are right now. Right down here, kind of by the Atoll Islands, south of Hawaii. The Clarion Clipper Zone is a deep water plain wider than the continental United States. When the mining code is approved, more than a dozen contractors will begin commercial extraction. So here we go with more bunker fuel, more melting of the Arctic and the poles, more cloud cover at the poles. Will just heat up, the ice so they can melt that, and then they can get to the resources on the poles. Back in October this year, bees have been declared the most important living thing on Earth. No matter how many times you bang on them on Twitter, they are actually more important than you think. Instead, bees have been declared the most important living being on the planet, as concluded by the Earthwatch Institute at the last meeting at the Royal Geographical Society in London. The problem is that all the bees are dying from Alzheimer's, aluminum poisoning, plastics. Everything that they're dumping out of the skies is killing the bees off. We've seen a major decline. Then we've seen what all the Monsanto spraying over on the East Coast and down in Florida, southern states, northern states, where they come in to spray for mosquitoes, and they end up killing billions of bees off. I mean, they've took whole colonies of people's livelihoods, people that were supplying the honey, and they just killed their whole colony with these sprays for the mosquitoes. Not looking good. As Victoria readies for heat records, this farmer fears his peaches will boil on the branch. So apparently they're thinking it's going to get so hot it's going to boil the peaches. See, what happens in there is that it acts like a little boiler because there is a little bit of room for the sugar and moisture to boil, and it can send the fruit brown. Some more problems going on with the food down in Australia. And we're seeing this kind of things worldwide. I mean, it's just nuts what's going on in Australia. This is actually an old article out of 2015. But I figure I'd bring it back up. At least 50 U.S. law enforcement agencies quietly deployed radars that let them effectively see inside homes with little notice or courts or to the public. So in Washington, at least 50 U.S. law enforcement agencies have secretly equipped their officers with radar devices that allow them to effectively peer through walls of houses to see whether anyone is inside, a practice raising new concerns about the extent of the government surveillance. The agency's FBI, the U.S. Marshal Service, began deploying the radar systems more than 2 years ago. So we're looking at They've been out since 2013. More than 2 years ago, at little notice to the courts, no public disclosure of when or how they will be used. The technology raises legal privacy issues because the U.S. Supreme Court said officers generally cannot use high-tech sensors to tell them about what's inside a person's house without first obtaining a search warrant. The radars work finely tuned motion detectors using radio waves. Radio waves. You know, think about that. It's the same thing that the NextRads are putting off, the Dopplers, the cell phone towers. And, you know, we went over the article not too long ago how the NextRads and the Doppler radars can listen to voices miles and miles away and decode them. And they say they use it to look for missing people in the forest. Like, there's so much technology out there that the normal people just don't know about. So the radars work like finely tuned motion detectors using radio waves to zero in on movements as slight as human breathing. From a distance more than 50 feet, they can detect whether anyone inside the house, where they are, whether they are moving. So we need some kind of paint blocking. We need lead paint back. We need to start painting our houses in lead. The current former federal officials say the information is critical for keeping officers safe. If they need to storm buildings or rescue hostages, but privacy advocates and judges have nothing less expressed concern about the circumstances. This is definitely invasion of your privacy. So they spent at least $180,000 on them back in 2012. They sold about 200 devices to 50 law enforcement agencies, $6,000 each. So just more news that they can look in your house. They can watch you walking around your house. Not to mention the technology is in all the new smart TVs, the smart refrigerators, the LED lights. Nowhere to hide. Coming out of Nova Scotia, towns sinking as sea levels rising. How come we only have sea level rising in certain places? You don't think this has anything to do with the wind pushing the water in and all the geoengineering that's been going on over their heads? We know there's a VLF transmitter up there. You know, and then telescope. In my observatory, I like to look to see if I can find it. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but always like I can confirm it myself. Then we had this weird article coming out. Scientists shocked after spotting creation of a fast-moving Siberian ice stream from space. The event was captured by satellites observing the eastern side of October Revolution Island in Siberia over a period of 7 years. The geologists used satellite imagery to observe the creation of fast-moving ice stream, watching the Valovov ice cast on a major island in Russia's far north as it began rapidly spewing a stream of ice into the Arctic Sea. So they just published this letter, spring 2019. So here's another spot that they're saying is pushing out a bunch of ice stream. Did they not happen to look at the bunker fuel operations up here, which have been going on for over 7 years? You know, and then you're supposed to believe this. How about some real footage? Why don't they give us some footage of the satellite data? I mean, what is this showing us? This is just made up. Just more CGI from NASA. they can't show you the real thing, so they're going to make this look like it's the real thing. So just more stuff to try to make you believe in the fake global warming. Now today there was an earthquake that went off in California, and they come up with this new app, the Earthquake Early Warning app. It's called MyShake. And what it does, I don't think people realize this app. I watched a video earlier today, and it was some mainstream place over in California, and they were like 40 people got the alert. When you go down and look how this application works, it's another spying operation here. If you get all the way down here and start reading on, earthquake detected, drop cover, hold on. But look, here's how it works. When your phone is stationary, the MyShake app is ready to collect data from its motion sensors. So what it's doing is taking your location, and if it's detecting any vibrations on your phone, then it's sending it to the server. So it's not only pointing out where you are, it's detecting the vibrations when your phone's sitting on a table. So, if maybe you and your spouse are in the bedroom doing something, you could make it go off. Now it detects, the MyShake uses a neural network to decide which motion is produced by earthquakes and which isn't. How does it do that? We've heard the neural network before. And then it records. When MyShake detects an earthquake, its network of phones records the shaking to collect valuable data, and then they send out the alerts. So this is just another spying device. Don't put this on your phone. It's going to track your locations. It's going to track any kind of vibrations wherever you're at. And then it's going to recording and send it off to wherever it goes. I mean, I can't even believe they put this right on there. Here was click to learn more. I haven't clicked this. Talks about how good are the sensors in the phones. Probably more good than you would think. We'll see what kind of data that the MyShake collects. MyShake uses a data provided by citizen scientists. So they're going to call you a citizen scientist. Whoops, for giving away all your information to locate, moderate to large earthquakes globally and determine their magnitude. MyShake seismologists can also use the data to learn more about earthquake dynamics in the areas without traditional networks. This could lead to the development of earthquake early warning technology. Hey, call up Dutch Sense, man. He can already predict the earthquakes. Yes, if you don't live in an earthquake-prone region, they want you to participate. Yes, there are a few locations in the world that earthquakes never occur. Also, by participating in the citizen science effort, your data can provide a useful baseline against which to compare data from phones in the earthquake-prone areas. More spying, man. That's what this is. Let's see what it says on the movements. The MyShake algorithm uses a neural network to decide which motion fits the model of an earthquake and which doesn't. The algorithm is already good at this, and as a MyShake user, you're helping it get even better. So I would not download this on your phone. They got plenty of earthquake apps now. Hell, you're going to feel it. You're going to know an earthquake's coming because you're going to feel it. And look, how's the stream out there? Because I'm getting a little bit of a bit rate problem here. Your current bit rate 634, and I should be at 2500. So let me just see if anybody is getting that, because I can't tell. So is it buffering or anything out there? D-Live kicked me off. Huh. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. The internet's actually working fine. 5x5, all right. All right, as long as it's working, man, that's all we need. Here was check the maps. That's like all the articles I had for today. All right, so let's just put on the watches warnings. I haven't really got to look at anything today. I was swamped today. Get off there. There we go. See if there's any kind of watches and warnings populate. We're going to take a look at all the engineering effort, geoengineering efforts that are going on. Look at the cloud temperatures up there in the BC area, Washington. Let me put this where we can see this better. So you got some really hot storms going on up in Washington. So we're looking at winter storm warnings for parts of Oregon, Washington, up into BC, flood warnings everywhere else. And we're going to check the storm data. Yeah, now my stream health looks like it's okay now. I don't know why it does that sometimes. It just, I'm still pretty impressed with this satellite internet that we got now, man. It's way faster than my original satellite. Of course, it's way more expensive, but it's way better. The Ebola training was in Texas. They were looking for a planner. They want somebody to run the planning for a Ebola outbreak, it's like a exercise. So we can see a little bit of weird pulsing going on in the southern X-rads. So this really ain't going to tell us a whole lot right now. Let me put this on the Cirrus. We'll come back to this one. Let's jump on the worldview map. So here we are. I'm over here looking in the Pacific. And, you know, I'm looking around here. I can see some aerosols being deployed. Just straight out. We'll see where we are. We scroll over. Straight out from Santa Barbara. Aerosols up in San Francisco. And I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see any bunker fuel. But then when I click the layer, we got them right here. So we got a bunker fuel ship there. Bunker fuel ship here. Bunker fuel ship there. I mean, it's definitely gone down. We got one right there. So it's definitely gone down. So a lot of them they're not out here anymore. I see one right there. And I think that's all this layer is loaded right now. So wow, it's dropped down dramatically. They must be all reloading on the toxic emissions. And then we got a mass spraying operation way down here in the tropics. Down here all through Mexico. Look at these odd sprays. That's some pretty odd looking stuff there. Let me click the layer. Yeah, so they just pretty much come out of nowhere. So they're really spraying pretty much all over Mexico. We'll just go on up here. Yeah, tons of aerosols. So it looks like they're getting ready to pull the moisture back up through Mexico and then right into Texas. Looks like New Mexico on the U.S. side is getting sky grids. going all the way up into Colorado. So the southern part of California is clear, and I really can't tell over Washington, Oregon. It's all so cloud covered. Got aerosols in Utah. So all over Mexico, Texas is getting the beginning of getting bombarded. Let me just check the layer here. Oh yeah, so that spraying operation grew really quick. Looks like they're targeting really heavy over the San Angelo, the Brady area, Killeen, Texas, and going all the way up right towards Fort Worth, Texas. Houston's getting hit off the coast. You got a grid formation. Finally, all these are clear. Now, we got sprayed here in Missouri, but they're not really coming out. It wasn't like a super thick spray, about like the spray here in Kansas and Nebraska. Not heavy spraying, but they were definitely creating the solar sun shield. So it would have been later in the day. We can see over here in Iowa, we got some pretty good liners going through Iowa, parts of Illinois. They're going across the, always forget the name of this water up here. Lake Superior, I think is what that one is. So we got spraying there that goes on up through Ontario into Manitoba. Spraying operation over Detroit, parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. It looks pretty light, but let's go on down south. We got a weird little spraying operation off the coast of Tallahassee. I mean, look at that weird cloud. Look, they're dropping like the little chem dumps. I'm looking for some pretty good rain event coming in here. And we're seeing here. So that's going online. Everything's back online. All right, I think I got it back up. We're back up. Stream is not dropping too many. It says it's excellent. All right, we're back. Wow, that was really freaky. So I don't know what to tell you what happened there. I don't even know when it died out on us. All right, we're back up. Okay, let me get back where I was. And it looks like everything is going. All right, there we go. So I don't know where it ended. I don't know if it ended. I was trying to show you this freaky cloud down here. So we got, you know, another one of these strange clouds. They're spraying in the Bahamas. And like I said, I kind of lost my place, so we'll just keep on going, I guess. Excuse me there. So we got big storms hitting over here in Portugal, Spain. You can see the aerosols that are coming all the way from the Gulf of Mexico. They're aerosols over the Bahamas. Look, they're stretching this atmospheric river all the way up to the Atlantic, right into Portugal. Remember yesterday, the heavy aerosols that were being just bombarded out here? Look, the storm's exactly where the aerosols were sprayed. Still spraying France right now, and the UK, the Netherlands. We got a monster spraying operation that goes through Germany, all the way through Poland, into Ukraine. So that's a mega long track spraying operation. And they're really mucking the skies up here, flying in threes. Oh yeah, they're getting waxed up here. Also getting hit by microwaves all the way through Poland. Up here in Sweden. Look at the Baltic Sea, man. They're getting blasted. Heavy aerosols up here going all the way up into Sweden. So that's a really far north spray. And look out over here in Algeria. They split a hunk of the river off. We got aerosols over the desert, man. Do you really think if water vapor, contrails, you think they would form over the desert? Hell no. This is a spray. This is a spraying operation. You can see the aerosols. You can see the shadows on the ground from the aerosols. All being deployed over the desert. Look, they're really going to turn the desert green. We're watching it. It is. It's actually already looking greener. Remember we had the dust storm over here. It's blowing straight off. It's not spinning no more. It's just blowing straight across like it should. Looks like maybe the weather generators are turned down. You got heavy aerosols over Pakistan, New Delhi. You could play tic-tac-toe up in the sky with the heavy aerosols going on over here. All right, so I noticed the spraying operations have been quite light over here in Japan. And actually China, they have, they get major spraying operations, but not here lately, not the last week. No man-made typhoons out here. Look at Guam's looking okay. Nothing major going on there. Then we get to Australia, got a little cloud cover. Remember, they're just getting blasted with a heat wave right now. Monsoons on one side, fires on the other, heat waves everywhere else. So it looks like this fire is picking up. It's actually creating its own thunderstorm clouds. That fire is creating its own little thunderstorm clouds. So man, the air down here has just got to be horrendous. And now we got new fires way down south. Man, they're going to burn up every single freaking forest down here in Australia. They won't hire more volunteer firefighters. They already had some killed. I think 3 got killed today, or a couple of them. You got major aerosols mixing in with the fire smoke. I mean, this should be considered an ecological disaster. You should have other countries down here helping them battle the blaze, but they're not. They don't want to help because they want it to burn. So it looks like the rainforest of Australia, World Heritage Area, completely on fire. Looks like the wind's back to blowing towards the west. Look at the color of the smoke here. The color of the smoke keeps changing dramatically. Yeah, this storm is creating its own weather. So that is one intense hotspot. Notice how it's concentrated, what's under there. So it went from, like a line of burning several spot fires. Click the layer, and wham, that one certain area right there is burning so hot, it's creating clouds. It's creating thunderstorm clouds, which is probably creating more lightning, which is going to start more fires. Air quality is bad down here. Still around Sydney. What do we got right there? That doesn't look right. So look at that. The winds were blowing to the east. And then later, yeah, they're still blowing to the east, but that one fire, oh, they're up here. They're blowing the other way. Yeah, see, they completely did a 180 on the wind. Right there is blowing towards the east. These were going east, southeast. And then wham, just the storm up here is blowing north. That one's going east or west. Man, they're getting burned out down here. Probably never be the same. We got some chemical dumps down here off the coast of New Zealand, along with some frequency waves, tons of aerosols mixing in with the fire smoke. Looks like some kind of ghost face. And there's actually aerosols in it. Where would this plane be flying to? It's out here in the middle of nowhere. All right, so yeah, stream's all fine now, so I don't know what that was all about. Let me take off these watches warnings. Put a little enhancement on here, see if we can pull out some of the bigger spraying operations. So yeah, you can see these spraying operations. It was over Missouri, over Kansas, down through Texas, and there was aerosols being deployed over the central part of California. Just trying to see some of the biggest spraying operations. You got like a double spitting system right there by Nova Scotia. That's pretty weird. They're like that's like twin cyclones right there. So you have like twin cyclones coming out. Miniature cyclones. Now, if that isn't odd, what is? So you got double cyclones that are really close together. Right there by the, there's a big scatter radar up north that could easily aim down there. All right, just want to look over on the west real quick. Did it go to the west? Why is it not going? Is it go 17 down? It's not giving me the option for the west. There we go. Now we can get it. So we'll just see if we can, oh yeah, tons of aircraft deploying out here. So you really can't see the bunker fuels until I put the highlight on. But yeah, there's a big spraying operation out here off the coast of California. Let me put this on the microphysics just to see if it'll pull up the yeah, there they are. There's the bunker fuel ships. So you got quite a few, more than it looked like on the map. So they're just now starting. I gotta wait for it to load. So yeah, you got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there's 2 there, 2. So we still got about 13, 14 bunker fuel ships out here deploying. 2 of them are headed in towards the coast. But it doesn't look like they're really dropping out that super thick, super nasty stuff. It's actually kind of hard to pick up right now. You know what? You got a couple right out here too. Like 2 of them. Let's see if I can pick them up a little better with this. Yeah, it's almost a sporadic bunker fuel operation. Got a couple people's out there with birthdays. Happy birthday out there if it's your birthdays. All right, guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and call this a show, man. Tomorrow's Friday night, thank God. So, we'll get some new stuff here going tomorrow night. Hopefully I'll have a little more time. Man, they're bringing in the new world order, man. That's what it's all about. There's not like, they're going to keep on pushing this crazy weather, and they're going to keep on calling it a climate crisis, and then they're going to just try to get you to pay to fix the climate. They're the ones that are doing it, and we're already paying for the cloud seeding. When you pay your light bill, when you pay your water bill, part of that money is going to the USDA, it's going to the power companies, it's going to the weather modification programs. You could almost look up every power company and find out that they're involved in the cloud seeding operations. So, anyway, guys, yeah, I'm pretty spent tonight. There's a bunker fuel operation way out here, just below the tip of the Aleutian Island chains. But yeah, all right, guys, much love out there. We'll play a song called Rise. Pretty soon, man, people are going to have to rise. We're like completely running out of time to wake up the crazy people. They're not crazy. They're just asleep. We got to get them awake, man. Anyway, guys, much love. We'll see you tomorrow night, God willing. It'll be Friday. Anyway, guys, be safe out there. Here we go. Let's crank it up.